Hi, everybody. My name is Tracy Johnson, and I am the coordinator and advisors for the Masters of Healthcare Administration program here at Louisiana State University, Shreveport. I wanted to take a few minutes to not only introduce myself to you in person, but to welcome you to our program. So as you're preparing to register for classes and get started, I wanted to walk you through some of the tools that you have available to you, as well as show you how to use them. Also, by now you should have received a welcome email from me that has a lot of attachments and specific detailed information. Make sure that if you've received that you read through all those documents and archive them for future use, because you'll reference them throughout the entire program. For those of you that are new and you did not receive that welcome email, please feel free to send me an email with your student ID number so I can get that information to you. My email address is Tracy, T as in Tom, R-A-C-I-E .Fraley, F as in Frank, R-A-L-E-Y, Johnson, John-S-O-N, at LSUS.edu. So like I said, if you haven't gotten your advisement materials, please send me an email so that I can get those to you as quickly as possible. But without further ado, let me walk you through some of the website pieces. So I'm going to share my screen, so give me just a moment here. But by now, as you can see, we are on the website, www.lsus.edu. This is your home page and landing page where you're going to find all kinds of information that you will want to access and look at. So, here we have our tab for future students, but since you are now considered a current student, let me click on this just real quickly and show you what we have. So for our students, we have lots of services here at LSUS that you can access and use. So for example, we have the Career Pilot and the Career Center. So, if you're looking for assistance finding an internship or with resume writing, job leads, etc., you can always click on this, as I did, and you will see all the things that we have, including career events, find a job or an internship, choosing your major, three-step career planning guide, etc. So very helpful to know. There's some videos posted here, as well as, if you scroll down on this page, the contact information. So we also have, this is one way to access Moodle, but I'm going to show you another way here in a moment. Moodle is our learning platform, so that is where all of your course information is going to be found. We also have for you in Moodle the MHA Resource Center, and that's where you will find all kinds of critical information, such as calendars of events, the course rotation, announcements, etc. So we really do expect you to use that Resource Center proactively. We also will send out announcements through the Moodle site, as well as the LSUS communication system, but we only send those to your actual LSUS email address. So when you're enrolled in the program or communicating with a professor or myself or anybody else, make sure you're using your official university email. That's critically important. My LSUS, which I'm going to walk you through in a moment, also is where you will find things like your interactive degree audit, your class schedule, etc. So a very helpful tool, and I'm going to show you how to access those here in just a moment. Then, of course, your student email, and I'm going to share that information with you also. Then you can see if you need financial aid, tuition information. There's all kinds of great information found here under the Current Students tab, and these are all hot links that you can easily just click on and go to. So like I said, very helpful. So let's look first at academic advising. So, you may say, who's my advisor? Well, obviously you're seeing me here on the video, but if you want to look specifically, or you need my email address or whatever, you can come here and you will see that you are a graduate student and you're enrolled in the Masters of Healthcare Administration. Here's my name. There's my direct link to my email, as well as my phone number. I will tell you the best way to reach me is always going to be via email. I'm not always in my office, or I may be on the other line, so the quickest route to an answer is always going to be email, and it is our preferred form of communication since this is a 100% online program. So I'm going to go back to, again, this current students page. And like I said, you can access the bookstore, things like that. Now, one of the questions we often get regarding books for the courses is, what books do I need? Can I buy them ahead? Etc. None of the courses in the Masters of Healthcare Administration program here at LSUS actually use textbooks. The professors provide all of the course materials that you're going to need to be successful, so you actually won't be using the bookstore resources. The professors generally make these documents available no later than 9 a.m. the first day of a scheduled class. Some of them will actually give you access through their syllabus and stuff 1 to 2 days before class starts, but the standard is 9 a.m. the first day of class. So now let's go to one of the most critical elements that you're going to need here at LSUS is this little quick links bar right here at the top. So I'm going to click on that, and you will notice, now my screen is going to be just slightly different than yours, but the first thing I'm going to click on is My LSUS. Now, before we move from this page to actually go to the My LSUS account, I want you to make sure that you look at what is on this page, because it's very, very helpful to you. So it talks about what My LSUS is, how you can use it. Please note, too, that it's unavailable from 11:30 p.m. Central Standard Time to 12:30 a.m. Central Standard Time each day because they do a backup. So generally, assignments and things like that with professors are going to be done no later than 11:30 p.m. Central Standard Time on the due date, unless they specify differently, because we shut down the system. You can do things like update your address, your phone number, etc. So here is a Q&A regarding this, and I can't tell you how often I get these questions from students, but here are the answers. So if you haven't received or you've lost your ID, your PIN, or your password, what do? So you have to contact our Information Technology Services. Here's their number, or you can file a virtual ticket. So that answers that question. My student ID and password work for that My LSUS system, but they don't seem to be working for Moodle or your student email. So you should have access to Moodle or student email if you have actually registered for classes, but it takes a 1-day turnaround time, and those are business days. So let's say, for example, I registered for my classes on Tuesday. I wouldn't be able to access Moodle or my student email that same day. I should be able to access it the next day, though, on Wednesday. If for some reason you still cannot access the system, you can call Information Services between 8 a.m. and 4:30 p.m. Central Standard Time at 318-797-5221. Or you can also file a ticket, and here is that hot link to do that. So, we're able to expedite those pretty quickly. So the other question we get frequently is, when is my LSUS account created, and when can I access Moodle and student email? So again, they're created after you've registered, like we talked about. But if you're a first-time student, like I said, it's the next day it should appear. If you're a returning student, we sometimes get that done as quickly as 2 hours. But the general rule of thumb is going to be 1 business day. So now that I'm here on the quick link bar for My LSUS, some people may still refer to it as Compass. That was our old system, but it's actually My LSUS. I can click here to proceed. Now, before I actually log into the system, you will see there are some really helpful pieces over here. So for example, if you're wanting to see what courses might be available for the upcoming term, you simply click here, and you'll notice that you will see this page. It says Class Schedule, Search by Term. Well, right now we default automatically to summer because we're still in our second summer session, the 1D session. But let's say I'm a new student who's going to register for the fall. So I click this little bar right here, and I click on the fall semester. I don't change any of this. I simply come down here to course ID, and I type in HCAD generally, because that'll give me the full schedule for all of our Masters of Healthcare Administration programs. Then I hit enter on my computer, and voila, there's the schedule. So you will notice that if you were doing a specific search for a particular course, maybe in your actual My LSUS system, sometimes courses won't show up. Well, the reason a course won't show up is because it's closed since it's reached capacity. That's why I like this search feature. So I can quickly scan and see, gosh, there's plenty of seats still open in all of our courses with the exception of HCAD 710. It's closed because it's at capacity. That's taught by Dr. Boast. And the only students right now that we're actually letting in this course are students who are graduating in the fall 1C session. So if you're a new student, you don't have to, you won't be able to access that course. As you get further along in the program, it is important to monitor this and register as soon as you can when registration opens, because classes do tend to fill somewhat quickly. So you'll notice going on down that in our 1C session, there's only 3 seats left in our HCAD 770 or Healthcare Economics class. And again, that's going to be for our students who really need to get into a particular course. Now, the good news about the MHA program is that there is no set course sequence. You can take courses in any order you choose. There are also no prerequisites. So again, you can choose any course. And all of our courses are, of course, going to be at 100% online. So when reading the schedule, you'll notice that you'll see a reference number. There's a little spyglass or magnifying glass right here, and we'll talk about what that is. The course name, obviously, since these are online, we don't give you a specific time that they're going to be available or a room. This is our 1D session, which I can tell meets from October 28th, 2019 through December 14th, 2019. And because it is an online class, it's available 24/7 during the particular week or module. There's 82 seats left, and our instructor is Dr. Lord. So critical information here. Now this course, conversely, 1C, Healthcare Law and Ethics, HCAD 730, is offered in our first session of the semester, and it starts on September the 2nd, ends on October the 18th, and taught by Dr. Alexander. Now if I click on, I can add this to my cart. I'm not going to actually do that since I don't have a student account, but I can add it from here, so it makes it really simple. And if I did that, then I would simply go up here to view my shopping cart, and it'll walk me through the steps to complete my course registration. It's a very intuitive system, so you can't mess it up. Just kind of follow the prompts and you should be fine. If I were to go ahead and click on this little eyeglass right here, I get specific information about the course, and I can see that there's 200 seats available in this course. There's 118 already enrolled. Here's my reference number, credit numbers, etc., when it begins, who the instructor is, and which subject it falls under. I can also click directly here to view book information, and that will redirect me to our bookstore, and you'll see, as I told you, this course does not require any textbooks. So that makes it pretty nice and pretty easy. So let me get back to where we were. So bear with me here just 1 second. And again, I can go back. I can do a new search. So let's say this time I want to be very specific, and I'm going to look in the fall, but I need to take, at this point in my career, I really need to take HCAD 750. So I'm going to type that in, and again, hit enter. And again, there is this particular course. Now note, we do have some courses that have special directions or instructions. So this is our healthcare informatics course. It's like a statistics course in informatics for healthcare. So we do advise for students who don't have a strong statistics or mathematics background to take one of our optional foundation courses, ISDS 500. These are offered, there are 4 of them: Accounting 500, Economics 500, Finance 500, and ISDS 500. And while they are optional, we do, that's part of what I send you in your advisement materials, is how you can decide if you need these courses or not. But again, this course, we recommend that you do that, but again, they're optional and not required. But let's say, gosh, it's been a really long time since I had statistics as an undergrad, or I've never taken it, so maybe enrolling in that course would be really helpful to me. So I can actually search for those as well. So I click on my new search button, and again, I'm going to go to fall. Make sure that's, since that's my default, because, right now it's too late to register for summer, and I'm going to just type in those numbers. And you can see I type in these all the time because they automatically pop up for me. And let's see which one I'm missing. ISBS 500. Okay, so I've got those in there, and I'm just going to do a search now, and you will notice that these courses are available. Now, one thing to note as an MHA student is, as I told you earlier in the video, our courses are taught in 7-week segments. They're accelerated courses, and the entire course is one and done in that 7-week time frame. The first 7 weeks is 1C. The last 7 weeks of the semester is 1D. Now, you will notice for these fundamental courses that are optional, you know, that they are pass-fail. It does not fulfill course requirements. But the AP, you'll see a section or a session labeled AP or 1D. So, for example, Accounting 500 is offered in that last 7 weeks of the fall semester. So it starts on October 28th, 2019, ends on December 14th. But you'll notice you have an AP session and you have a 1D session. As an MHA student, you're always going to register for either a 1C or a 1D. So here's the 1C section of Econ 500 as well as the AP section. AP sessions are reserved and designated for our MBA students, while the 1C, 1D sessions are reserved for our MHA students. So that may help to clarify. Okay, so now we're going to go back to, since I'm in that search function, I'm going to go back home, and this is where you will log in. So as a student, you would type in your student ID number, and I have an ID number. Let me see if I can remember it. Actually, I'm sorry, they disabled my fake student account, so I'm still going to log in as myself. But you'll go in with your student ID number here, and then that 4-digit PIN that you should have received from IT. Remember, if you didn't receive it in IT, you can simply go back to that My LSUS initial login page, and there's the information to contact IT services. So let me go ahead and log in, but I'll come in as a faculty member. So give me just 1 second here, okay? Hit enter, log in. Now mine's gonna look a little bit different than yours, obviously, because we are here through my faculty login. But when you pull this up, and I'm just gonna randomly, anyway, you will see this where you can put in, I have to go in and put in an ID number and all that. So let me just do that real quickly. I'll put in a former student, pick on somebody. I'll do that real quick. And then we don't want you to see, actually I'm gonna stop sharing for a second. Let me just pull up some of this information so you can see what it looks like. Sorry, I should have done that beforehand. Let's see, who is one of our great students that I can pull up? Hang on. Again, I don't want you to be able to see who these are, so I have to go in and kind of pull up and black out for you real quick. Okay, so let me go back to sharing again. So I have pulled up what is called the Interactive Degree Audit. This is for a student who is, you'll see up here, this is our program code, MHA 3010, Master of Healthcare Administration. This student entered, for us, that means something. For you guys, you know, it's just going to tell me basically when you entered the program. So 20191, that means they entered in the first session of the 2019-2020 school year, which would be fall of 2019. If you're entering in the fall of 2020, it'll say 20201. If it's the spring, it'll say 20202. If it's the summer of 2020, it'll say 20203. The student has a Bachelor of Science, Associate of Arts. They've been doing pretty well in our program. So right here, these are your requirements. So these list the 10 courses that are required. These are hot links as well. If it has an X in it, it means that that course, the students either completed it or they're currently enrolled in it. If it doesn't have an X, that means they still need to complete it. Now, let's say that the student had enrolled in HCAT 740, it would list it over here, and then it would have some dollar signs, so that simply means they're enrolled, but they still need to pay. If it doesn't have the dollar signs, but there's little asterisk marks, it means they're enrolled, but they haven't completed the course. Other important information that you can see here in the degree audit is going to be if you have any courses that are not listed. So if, for example, if you take one of those optional courses, you will see it listed here. So it may say ACCT 500 with a P or an F, pass or fail. If you withdraw from a course and get a W, it'll also appear here. It'll let you know what your progress looks like, so you can have 30 credit hours. The student is required, as all of you will be, for 30. They've completed 15. They still have 15 more to go. Then when you come down here, it will calculate the GPA for you, as well as explain any special codes. So, you know, if you have a question about a code or it's not listed here, you don't understand, then you can, you know, always email me. But for example, I said if they've enrolled and paid, it'll say star star, which just means you're in the course, you haven't finished it. Or if they're enrolled but you haven't paid for it yet, then it'll show the dollar signs. You know, it will also give you a progress requirement. So the student's 50% done. It will also tell us that, you know, if you've met the residency requirement. Now keep in mind, all of our online students are charged the same rate as in-state Louisiana students. So everybody has that. And as a part of the graduate program, you have to maintain an overall 3.0, which the student has clearly done. So they are still within their GPA requirement. Now, sometimes you will see here that there may be some messages that'll say things like probation or suspension, you know, but it, you know, hopefully you won't get into that issue. But if you get a D or an F in a course, you have to repeat it. If you get more than 2 C's in the entire program, you can then go on to suspension or probation, or if your GPA drops below a 3.0. But those would be noted in these sort of special notice areas. And then when you do finish the program, this is what we use to actually complete your degree checkout system. So pretty simple. It's all right there for you that you can see. Okay, so let me kind of go back here, and I'm going to stop sharing again so that I can take you back to some other pieces. So within your program, you will see that we have some, you can also access within my LSUS, and again, let me just kind of scroll so we can only see, let me just do a snip of this and pull it up. So you can see what it looks like to pull up your class schedule. Let me share just that element with you. So this is what a class schedule looks like, and you can see down here at the bottom, you know, the student doesn't know anything. It tells you what this is. It tells you when classes have to be paid for. So that makes it pretty nice and easy as well. Let me also stop sharing again and pull up another element for you. So one of the things that's really nice here as well is we have what's called the GPA calculator. So let me share that. So this is what the GPA calculator looks like. So let's see, the student, and it'll automatically populate for you. So they have a 3.0, they've earned 15 hours, but let's say that, gosh, I'm really kind of worried about this class that I'm in right now. I think I'm going to get a C. So if I do get a C, I just calculate, you'll notice that my overall GPA is a 3.33, so I'm still in good shape. I can have up to 2 C's without being put on probation, so I'm fine. But let's say that, gosh, I got a C, and wow, I'm not doing well at all, and I actually got a D in this course. So now, even though I meet the criteria for the GPA, because I earned a D or an F, I go on to probation, I have to retake this course. Or, I'm sorry, you go to suspended, not probation. I have to retake this course. But let's say, gosh, I ended up getting 3 C's in courses. What happens to my GPA? Calculate. Well, I'm still, because I've done well, I'm still at that 3.0, but I have now 3 C's, so I have to retake one of those courses, and I am now on probationary status. So, you know, if you are on one of those probationary status, you can also look at your target GPA, and gosh, you know, I really want to get to a 4.0 in my next hours, so what do I have to do? To do that, Well, I can't. But, you know, I can get to a 3.8 if I make nothing but straight A's. So these are nice little handy dandy tools that you might want to use. So now let's talk specifically about things like Moodle and all of that. So I'm now going to go back to the home screen, and let me actually take you all the way back to the LSUS website. Okay, so from here, the way that I'm going to access my courses is going to be Moodle. So I simply click on Moodle, very simple, then it says click here to proceed. And I'm already logged in the system, but you will get a login screen that looks very much like what you just saw in my LSUS, where you're going to type in your ID number and your PIN. So I'm now going to walk you through the MHA Resource Center. Okay. Now again, mine looks different because I am in editing mode. In fact, let me see if I can turn off editing so it doesn't look so weird. Yeah, I turned it off. So in Moodle here, it's very simple to access. You know, here's the welcome, you know, information. We've been named one of the best in the country. Here's a place to click for announcements. Here is some advisement materials that includes, you know, the date chart, the course carousel, and more. News, who do I contact, but a wealth of information on Moodle. Now, I'm going to take you back to my homepage, and even though it's going to look slightly different than yours, because there are some courses that, you know, I teach, but your dashboard, it's not going to contain all this, but you should have on your dashboard the MHA Resource Center as well as a particular class that you're enrolled in. So I'm going to just, and if it doesn't appear, you can always go to the dashboard. And again, mine looks different, but for example, maybe I want to pull up, yeah, I've taught a bunch of courses here, so just disregard a lot of this. But let's say I wanted to look up, you know, I'm in this course, okay? So I'm going to show you what it looks like. Now, this is an old course that we don't teach anymore. So it was BDAM 790. There's announcements. You'll see the virtual office information. There is an honor code you have to subscribe to, you know, and the way that this is set, that honor code has to be marked complete to be able to do that. But then you will notice this how it's put together. So the getting started just kind of gets you started. Then you will see actual modules here. And I'm not going to click on them, but you will notice this module was from August 28th to September 3rd. Here is information and assignments. Now, keep in mind, this is a course that is not taught anymore. So, you know, I'm not violating any copyright laws or anything like that by letting you just see these sort of things. Here's week 2. You know, let's see if I actually click on one of these. You will notice here's some questions, a discussion forum, etc. And information will be in here that includes due dates and things like that. So hopefully this is somewhat helpful, you know, to be able to see that. But I'm going to go again back to home, and I can pull up again for you that Student Resource Center. And like I said, all kinds of information. Here's the curriculum with course descriptions, information about the foundations. I'm about to update this because you'll notice I need to update the important dates in the calendar. So I'm about to put everything up for fall. Textbook information I'll also update, as well as other information. How do I get a student ID card? You know, what do I need to do for degree checkouts, summer? Once we get our fall information, you know, that will be posted. How do I access the library? Get lots of questions about that. So all of this is found within the MHA Resource Center. And keep in mind, it's a living, breathing document. I'm you know, constantly going in and updating. And like I said, we're about to unveil all of our fall 2019 stuff. So hopefully that will make it much easier. So hopefully, you know, this has been a helpful part of the learning process with you guys. Let me make sure I'm not sharing. There we go. For you, and, you know, you'll find these resources really helpful. You can always reach out to me. Again, email is best. My email address, one last time, is Tracie, TRACIE, .Fraley, FRALEY, -Johnson, JOHNSON, at LSUS.edu. And you can always find that on the website. So let me just show you where I'm located on the website real quickly here. So let me share with you. again, where to find me. So you're seeing our web page right here. You can always go to current students and click on that hot button. You can go to academic advising. Who's my advisor? Go down to the graduate. You'll see the Master of Healthcare Administration, which I've highlighted for you right here. And that is my contact email. Like I said, email is always preferred. And all I would have to do is click on that and open it. And eventually, you would actually see my email address pop up. So I'm excited to have you in our program. If there's anything I can do to help or assist, don't hesitate to let me know. So welcome to LSUS and the Master of Healthcare Administration program.